Hello everyone and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds. I've been off the radar for quite a while, just kind of recharging and taking it all in. Anyways, so going along, I haven't done any bench work at all, but I do have some things to show and review today. So I thought I'd take a bit of time. It's kind of cool and it's supposed to rain later, so anyways, shout out to everybody. 608 subscribers now, and as always, thanks to everyone, and special thanks to Peter, Zinzan, Sue, Simi, and all the gang over. Oh, and Paul, can't forget Paul, and all the gang over there at Ice Queen. So, anyways, yeah, I haven't been. Yeah, I've just been insulating myself. And but anyway, so in the midst of wars and rumors of wars, I go over a few things about an old war that we won. And here we go. So we'll start with this. I saw this and I on Amazon. I was pretty excited. It was I think it was about $26. And it's the World War II German Infantry on Maneuvers set, and it's item number 32530. And this is 1/48 scale. It's not 135. I've done 1/48 scale figures before. I've done 1/44 scale figures before. And 1/48 scales, it's a good scale. 135, yes, you can get more detail in there. But on the other hand, if you're not that skilled to be so meticulous, the 1/48 figures are a good size. Anyway, I've talked about figures before, and I am no expert. Okay, I like doing them most of the time. I do enjoy them. I find them to be a lot of fun. And if a kid has a figure or figures, to me, excuse me, to me that's a real bonus. So, anyways, so here we've got. Here is, this is a 1/76 scale British officer soldier, World War I British officer soldier. And let me see the way, see a little better there. And actually, this little set was I did this for the World War I mail tank to accompany it, and yeah, so it was my first attempt at figures in like 40 years. And I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. Pretty nice. And then here's a 1/48 figure. And this is a British RAF pilot. I think this is an ICM figure. Anyways, ICM does really nice figures. And yeah, like I say, I'm no expert, but I like doing it, and most of the time I'm very pleased with the way it's turned out. And the thing about the 1/48 scale too is, it's easier to do a diorama. It doesn't take as much space. I got this. This guy's not in it, but I got this for the Tamiya 1/48 Spitfire. And then there was also the Austin truck, and so there's a whole little scene. I was showing that before. I won't bore you with it again. So, anyways, so this was $25 or $26, I guess, and I guess this is aftermarket. To me, it doesn't usually shrink wrap their stuff. Some of their newer, higher end stuff they do, but as a rule, all you get is the yellow tape, and there's nothing wrong with that. Jeez, I gotta clip off this blade. Boy, that's dirty plastic. Anyway, so yeah, so there's a better look at them. And I think, how many are there here? Okay. Set includes 7 machine gun crew on maneuvers, 2 standing infantry, 3 tank crew, 2 officers, and 1 military policeman. Realistic M43 field uniform. And so you can see the happy crowd there. I don't know why this guy's smiling so much, but anyways, must be early in the war. Anyways, he just got told he got 48 hours leave. Anyway, so yeah, so we'll take a look at this here. And, you know, I thought this was a great value. They give you little stands. I mean, whatever. But look at all the accessories here. I mean, most of it's accessories. You've got everything, all sorts of machine guns. You've got helmets. You've got ammo pouches, different kinds of hats. Yeah, and then the figures themselves. So, and as you can see here, you know, they're not that small. And so, anyways, so just a quick view of that. And I think there's, I don't know if there's decals or not. I don't think so. So yeah, there's, you know, all these accessories here. The machine guns. Rifles. All sorts of stuff. So, anyways, yeah, and another fun thing about figures is, you know, if you don't want to get involved in any big project, or you just don't feel like working on a big project you're working on, you know, you go do a figure, you know. And the other cool thing about them is that, you know, 9 times out of 10, if you mess it up, you can soak them, clean them up, or just paint them over. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so I think that's, you know, to get all those figures, even though they're $148, you know, for that price, I think that's a pretty good value. And next is another 148 kit, the Tamiya Komatsu G40 bulldozer. Yeah. And there's not much to this kit. I can't remember. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It was maybe $22 or something. Wouldn't want to pay much more than that for it. But anyways, G40 bulldozer authentically reproduced. Functional form of bulldozer, hydraulic dozer blade. I don't think the blade moves. Pipework feature. Yeah, the pipework looked pretty detailed. And has metal transfers. And the only funny thing is, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see at the top of the grill there what it says? They left out the S. It says Komatsu. And yeah, so anyways, we'll get into that in a sec. So anyways, yeah, so there's the profiles. I mean, you know, it's a fun little thing. And again, 148 scale. Oh, and their item number 32565. And like I said, there's not much to this kit. This would be a great little beginner kit, though. This would be a great little beginner kit. So it's just so small. I'll just show it off here. So anyways, you know, it's not super detailed, but again, you know, for a beginner, And these aren't the end, you know, these things aren't bad. I mean, they're formed so they look like they're hanging there and everything. So it'd be easy to paint those up. And yeah, and actually molded right in, there's a decal for it, but molded right in is Komatu. So that's something I guess they've, you know, chosen not to not to correct for whatever reason. I looked it up. The company was never known as Komatu, and actually Komatsu actually means whispering pines. Whispering pines. Which isn't the sound I think of when I hear a bulldozer, but in any case, or any kind of heavy equipment for that matter. And you do get a seated figure. He looks a little small, but then again, he's Japanese. Don't get upset, guys, okay? Let me tell you, there's some big Japanese people. There's some big Japanese, man, let me tell you. There's a lot of tall ones, not just sumo wrestler types. So, and yeah, we got the, you know, I mean, it's not super detailed, but I thought it was a bit of fun. And there's the metal transfers, and there's some decals. And so, yeah, I mean, whatever. That's not even a weekender, that's a few hours. That's an afternooner. Okay, and then, you know, one thing begets another. Okay, and so, yeah, one thing begets another, and, you know, rather than have just a bunch of guys standing around, I got this, a 148 German 3-ton 4x2 cargo truck. And this is a pretty cool kit too. It's their kit number 32585. Complete underside of ladder frame chassis, cabin interior, accessory parts for fuel drums, jerry cans, driver figure, and 2 marking options. I think one marking option is Poland, and the other one was Eastern Front. So, I told Peter Oxley a while back that I was done with Nazi stuff, and I've softened that a little bit. So what I did was I made a compromise. So, you know, if I get something like this, you know, it's going to be, you know, I'll incorporate it into something Eastern Frontish where they suffered a lot. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that before I get into even more trouble. And yeah, here, so yeah, we have the one-piece chassis, and we have the driver figure, differential. Yeah, lots of accessories, clear parts, nice cargo bed detail. Yeah, and yeah, I can't remember what this was, but it was quite reasonable. And you know, something like this, I rarely go over $30, unless it's something I really want or it's really cool. But yeah, this is pretty cool because yeah, you get the driver figure, and I figure that's probably worth about $10 for most kits. Maybe not for a 148, but anyways, yeah. And so you get all kinds of stuff. You get bed rolls and buckets, and yeah, very easy to yeah. So yeah, this is going to be dumping all those guys off, and don't know what I'm going to do with the tank crew. They might just go in the extras bin. Okay, and so now the star of the show. A while back, I stopped into the hobby shop. Can't remember why. I think maybe because we were just there. Huh. Um, and I always poke my nose around, and I saw this on the shelf, and it intrigued me because first of all, it's an interesting story. But in any case, as you can see, Matt had the price on here, $49.99, and he gave me a deal. So his kits are already pretty much, he doesn't have much margin on his kits. He makes his money on the RC cars and paint and accessories and stuff like that. He told me that one time. So yeah, he gets good prices. So anyway, so this is from Takom, and I don't have much experience with Takom. I think I have one other thing of theirs, but I've heard kind of mixed things about them. In some respects, I've seen that well, I think that the most common thing that I've seen is that they make really nice kits, well molded and detailed, but the instructions aren't very, yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. But having not experienced that, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, this intrigued me because I actually drove these for a bit during Arctic training when I was in the forces, and they were used well into the 1960s, one way or another. They moved them from the regular forces to what they call the Rangers, which is the Inuit people, or the Innu. We used to call them Eskimos. But anyways, I guess that's, you're not supposed to do that anymore. Anyways, the Innu, INU, that's the name of the people, and they've lived there for a long time and survived there for a long time, and they're kind of like a loose militia. But they don't really have much equipment, just snowmobiles and rifles. So, but anyways, I'm not denigrating them. Thank you for being there. A presence can make such a difference. So, anyways, yeah. So this is 135, and it's their catalog number 2193, and it's nicely packaged, a good sturdy box. And this is the Arctic edition. And before I open it up, I'll get into a bit of the history about it. But it's a funny duck, haha, as it were. Anyways, yeah. So it came out of World War II, and it was designed by a fellow named Jeffrey Pike, who was one of those borderline genius, mad scientist kind of people. Anyways, he made good contributions, but he did have some kind of way out there ideas. Anyways, so it was originally designed for a raid into Norway on industrial installations in German-occupied Norway, and it was named Project Plow. And he proposed fast, light mechanized vehicle that would transport small groups of commando troops of the 1st Special Service across snow. 1st Special Service, also known as the Devil's Brigade, was a blended Canadian-U.S. force. And it was it was designed for going across snow and kind of boggy, semi-frozen, soupy, mucky, and rough terrain. And the original one it was only partially amphibious. It had a what's called a low board, meaning that it could go in the water and sort of float, but it couldn't go too deep. Otherwise, the water would slop over the sides. And so, in any case, Project Plow was canceled. Well, it wasn't canceled, but it was decided that it would be an all British operation, and they would do their own thing. So, anyways, but Studebaker manufactured these, and they 15,000 of them of each of the iterations. The original one was the M29, which was the just a semi-amphibious one. And then when they found that it got pooped so often or slushed over, they came up with the M29C, which was a fully amphibious one. And this looks very much like the fully amphibious one, except it's outfitted for Arctic weather. So, but that's basically what they did, was they built up the sides, and they put this on the front, and they did some other things, with the, yeah. And so, so the Norwegian mission was canceled, and in late 1944, a lot of them were transferred to the Marines, 3rd, 4th, and 5th Marine Divisions in the Pacific, for combat in Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Oddly enough, the USMC used only the non-amphibious version, or the only semi-amphibious version. But they liked it because it could haul a half-ton load through sand and mud, and it was a good pusher too, and artillery hauler. The French also used them during the first Indochina War. They tactically they didn't understand how to use them, so it was a disaster. So, anyways, they ended up being distributed across forces all over, Allied forces, and they had good success with it in the Pacific. But like I said, it was good moving across sand and kind of swampy, muddy territory, as well as gravelly and all the stuff you get on atolls and things like that. So, then what, Steve? Oh, D-Day. Yeah, they they didn't work very well in Europe, unfortunately. I'll read something here from Wikipedia. It pretty much describes the situation, and this was written by the commander of the 87th Chemical Mortar Battalion. And if anybody's wondering, as I did, what a chemical mortar is, it's one that shoots gas shells and smoke shells, as well as regular shells. So this is what he had to say. All companies are having a great deal of trouble with the M29 cargo carriers on long movements such as the ones companies C and D have made in the past several days. The cargo carriers have been overheating, and in several cases the water has completely boiled out of the radiators. These vehicles were made to operate in Arctic temperatures. The motor becomes so hot that the oil in the transmission literally boils and boils out. Plates are coming off the tracks. The tracks had like these little cleats on them to help them move through the boggy, soggy ground, as well as provide some propellant for going through the water. And so plates are coming off the tracks, and the cables that hold the tracks together break on these long movements. All in all, the efficiency and mobility of this battalion is greatly reduced by our being required to operate with such a vehicle, not only because it is inefficient, but because it was never intended to operate in this climate or on hard and paved roads. So, I think that's actually a pretty fair assessment. It wasn't meant to be the American version of the universal carrier. And so it did a little better when they took the cleats off. But that was such a pain that most of the time they just didn't even bother, and they just used them for, because they were designed for cross country, not hard paved roads and or even cobblestones and all that kind of stuff. So in any case, excuses, right? In any case, there's still I think a few in use, mostly in ski resorts. A lot of militaries use them, especially those who train for winter fighting. And so, anyways, so yeah, here we go. There it is. A nice profile picture. Like I said, it's kind of a funny looking duck, but when it was used the way it was supposed to be used, it was great. But yeah, so we'll see what we've got here. Nice instruction book. Oh, we've got some photo etch here, and this looks like the base. Nice zipper pack there. I'm not going to open all this up. Yeah, so this will be the base, and then these are the side pieces, and blah blah blah, and this is the front. I suppose if you want. Oh, and I should say, yeah, this was a new tool in 2023 as the M29 version, and this was a 2024 parts update, and so, anyways, yeah, and so here's the front portion, and kind of small. Going to be a little fiddly in spots, I expect. No figures with this. There's a couple of accessories here: shovel, axe, bits and pieces and doodads. And here are more shovels and other things. Let's see what those things are when we get into the instructions. And yeah, then we've got the base. Guess that. Yeah. Back of the cab. And then here, this is I don't know. People have different opinions about the tracks. Me having grown up with Tamiya and others, I don't have a problem with the rubber band tracks. I've learned how to weather them mostly, so they look real. The individual link ones, that they're for people who are more meticulous than me, and require more quote-unquote authenticity. So they want it to look like it's hanging. It's the way it's supposed to hang and all that kind of stuff. But anyways. Okay, so looks like we have some photo etch here. Photo etch, not itch. Some of it looks useful, and photo etch windshield wipers. How interesting. Okay. Be in there. And we have decals for U.S. Army and U.S. Navy, oddly. And looks like we have some decals for control panel things. And we've got some kind of piece of vinyl tubing for something. And we'll find out what that's for in a minute. And nice, very nice, flawless, perfect. Okay. Oh, and it says here Jeffrey Pike was a British-born Canadian inventor. I guess maybe that means he was born in Britain but then ended up in Canada. Anyways, let's take a look. We've got a nice booklet here. It's black and white, but it's glossy paper. Read before assembly, how to apply the details, how to remove and clean up the PE. A nice parts diagram. And yeah, this is going to be the worst of it, as it were. All those little wheels. All those little wheels. But so far, the instructions look pretty clear. Make 2, make 4. Of course, the proof is always in the pudding. And, yeah. Okay. Tracks. The chassis, interior of the cab. Placing the firewalls. The photo etch pieces, I think a lot of those aren't going to be used. Anyways, and then it all goes on the chassis. This looks pretty complicated. Okay, and we put the side track guards. There's a lot of pieces to this. Oh, that was the other impression I got of Takom. They're sometimes a little over-engineered. Some of the companies based over there are like that. Okay, so yeah, so here we go, and then we've got nice. Well, there's not much color. It's white with blue tinted windows. So yeah. There it is. Looks nice, but I'm not going to be in a hurry to start it. I got so many things on the go now, and like I said, I've just stepped away from the bench for the time being. So yeah, so that's it for today then, and hope everybody's enjoyed it. Thanks to everyone who stops by to watch, and I, I don't know what to do about rating this. I mean, I'm not going to give it a number rating. I'm gonna say it's a good to very good kit, um, but a challenge. Yeah, a challenge, especially if smaller parts are a challenge for you. Um, so, but for someone who likes that kind of thing, um, this would be a fabulous kit, and it would make an interesting what do you call it? It you make an interesting little diorama. Yeah. So that's it. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate everybody's time, and all sorts of things going on in the world now. Um, but just do your best to take care of your own little corner and each other. And we'll be seeing you next time. I think next time might be a cooking video. Okay, so thanks again, and we'll see you again soon. Bye now.